Good evening, children. I hope you have joined. Okay, let me see how many of
Good
you have
evening,
joined.
children. I hope you have
Just a minute.
joined. Let me see how many of you have joined.
Okay, all right. So, okay, I'm audible, right? Because I have muted my mobile as a parallel. I wanted to see your chat, so I'll be seeing them in my phone and I'll reply here. Okay. So you see, I have been getting a number of requests and suggestions that I should do something about CUET students. Hello, Prerana. Hi, Vijay. Appu Kumar. Anu. Rudro, I was expecting you. Okay. Kamrun Nahar. Hello, Kamrun. Uh, Thank you for joining, and we will be getting some more viewers too. Isha, you're from Banaras, right? And I have Nishtha now with me, Shrestha. Okay, your names are so rhyming names, Nishtha and Shrestha, and they messaged right one after another. Shayoni, thank you, Shayoni. Nivedita, hello, Nivedita. Shams Naren, I know you so much, Shams. I hope you're doing fine. Unmona Bhattacharya, that's such a beautiful name you have. Mohammad Jahid, hello, Jahid. Ronak, hi. So, some of you, I guess, are planning to get into masters, and for that, you want to get into the central universities, and CUET is our only option. Hello, the English teacher, Nishu Sinha. Hello, Nishu. Kaira, hi, Kaira. So, first, let me get this straight. I said that yes, Prerona, you have Presidency University entrance. I know that. Who knows? Maybe some of the things we will talk about today might come handy tomorrow. Yes, Unmana is going straight to the point. So far as the books are concerned, now we are dealing with the Indian writing in English. Okay. Hi, Kajal. Now, let me tell you one thing. There are two ways of studying this. First is the long way method. If you are in your semester 4 right now, okay, then you have one full year of preparation. Then I would definitely ask you to study books like Iyengar. Okay, you will find those books in your college library. They are very very common books, and they are the real bibles of Indian writing in English. uh, okay, I'll just request you to keep commenting. I'll see your comments after some time and I'll reply to you, don't worry. Okay, so let me just finish what I'm saying. So far as books are concerned, then go for the uh, proper history of English, Indian English books which are available in your college libraries, I'm sure. And if you want to buy one, you can go for Iyengar. But if you are going to do it this time, you want to get into this time, then well, you don't have much time left. Then I would say that it's better to just go through practice sessions like this. You will have many such practice sessions from other channels as well. There are reputed channels out there. And just try to have some lists prepared. Okay, we will be talking about what kind of lists you should prepare for yourself. And even if you're in semester 4, if you want to get into masters the next year, even then these kinds of lists will be very very useful. What happens, it's a matter of orientation. If you were a student aspiring for IIT, what kind of study would you actually do? How much time would you actually give? A lot, right? Now with humanities, what happens, we tend to take it for granted, especially in the first 2 years of our graduation. We tend to get a laid back attitude, go into summaries a lot. We don't read our text, we only study notes. This happens. Although I must say that the first and the second year of your graduation, They are the best times to actually study the texts in detail. What happens when you study a text in detail is that you don't have to think about that text ever in your life. You, once you read the whole thing, you will always remember who wrote it, you'll always remember the main characters and the main plot and everything. And while studying those texts, since it is every text is somehow related to two, three, four more texts similar to it. Your teachers tend to talk about them in class. Those extra references will come in handy when you prepare for something like this. All right. So if you are in your fourth semester, if you are in just starting your fifth semester, then this is the golden time. You first, you have to remember that your graduation syllabus is the first thing to remember when it comes to facts and figures in your uh, CUET. Now when it comes to Indian writing in English, uh, every university, like it's under the CBCS structure, every university has separate list of texts which they teach. So our first strategy is to uh, pick the texts which are usually taught in different universities, reputed universities, central universities, okay, especially the universities in which you want to get admitted for the MA course, because they would expect you to know what they have taught their children in the graduation level. All right. So this is one thing. Now today we are going to focus entirely on Indian writing in English, so I will not be talking about the other topics. And even in this topic, I will not be able to cover the entire thing. What I want to do today, we want to have an interactive session where I will be, kind of talking about some text, some authors, some kind of, I want to give you some kind of idea about the basic timeline. And while doing this, I will be throwing some questions at you, and I'll wait for maybe 30 seconds, and you will have to answer me those questions. The only thing is, please don't Google the answers and then give me. If you don't know the answer, don't give. Somebody will give it, right? It's not like I'm going to give you any rating here. Okay, so if you don't know the answer, or if you think you know some, you can guess some answers, you can simply guess, and who knows, and I'll give you the right answer. Okay, so this way we will be having some idea about where we stand. Okay. um, I will come to all your questions. Okay, let me just quickly answer some of the questions you have already asked. Shornolota, how to concentrate before exam in English? Um, See, the main problem with concentration is that if you don't, as I was saying in English, if you don't know the text, suppose you don't know a novel, you don't know what happened in a novel, you will not be able to concentrate revising notes about it. Only when you are excited about a text, only when you are feeling connected to a text, you will be automatically, I mean, only then will you be able to concentrate. Otherwise, uh, it's very difficult to remember information from notes about a text which you have not studied. Okay, so if it is already exam time, you have not studied a novel in detail, there's no time for it, at least go for the summary, know the story, watch a video where they tell you the story. Sometimes we have our podcast, we have just started it, so that you already know the whole thing, and now you're concentrating. And then for concentration, for some people a very light music works, for some people absolute silence works, for some people the time of the day works, for like for some, like for me, I can get the best of my concentration in a very two very odd hours. That is, one is from 11 o'clock in the morning to 1 o'clock in the afternoon, I mean 1 p.m., and then late at night. So it might work for you. And if you think that group studies are helping you, go for it, but most of the time just before the exam, group studies actually distract you. So keep yourself away from distractions. That is what I can say. um, okay, if there is any. Anu, complicated means yes. Now, why shouldn't it be? There are so many applicants. Okay, and English happens to be the go-to solution for all kinds of students. If you are from the science stream, you are taking up English honors. If you are from the humanities, you're taking up English honors. From commerce, you're taking up English honors. So English happens to be the sometimes the last resort of all streams. And sometimes what happens, people who do not have knack for English, even they, while studying it in the graduation, develop it, and sometimes they do really well. And that's why there are a number of applicants increasing. So the strategy of the paper setters is to just filter out the best. So obviously it's going to be tough, and sometimes I really feel that if you prepare for CUET, you're almost preparing for net. It requires such a vastness of knowledge, but they do not need any depth of knowledge. That is what I have noticed. What they want is to for the students to be aware of different poets, different authors, what they wrote, rather than in-depth analysis of it. Okay, you don't have to write any answers, you just have to mark the right option. So yes, it is getting complicated, but the best part is, if you are a, a person who is preparing for it and you're serious about it, you would rather want it to be tough, so that people who do not prepare people who are not as focused as you are. And see, if you are present in a live session, in a literature class, obviously you are more serious about CUET than somebody who is, right now maybe watching a movie. Okay, so you are already kind of in a better situation. So let it be tough. Who cares? If it is tough, it is better for you. I think that is Jitu Bhaiya ish kind of a um, advice I can give you. Okay, but I have never felt that see, it's not like you have to answer all. You have to answer more than the person who is getting in place of you, right? um, Yes, Vijay, you have asked a very important question. How much Indian English literature is important for NET? This any question related to NET is best answered by a proficient astrologer, and because God knows what focus they'll give on what. But in CUET, what I've seen is um, you need to be aware of, especially the contemporary writers, uh, not just purely Indian writers, but writers who have some kind of connection to India. Okay, maybe they are citizens of other countries. So those authors are also getting very significant. Okay, and okay, so let me just move on. Um, yes, net syllabus is limitless. It's like an ocean, right? And well, they are using net to catch the best fish who can swim the best in that ocean. um, Yes. Now let's get to the point why we are here at all. And maybe for just a few minutes, I won't be able to look at your chats because I'll share the screen with you. I want to share this presentation or whatever you say, where you will find the questions. I'll ask them. And first, let's just go through the basic idea about Indian writing. Just a minute. Oh, all right. So you are all seeing a blank screen in front of you, I guess. It will. Okay. So when it comes to Indian writing in English, the first thing that we can study it as are the phases. Okay. Now, just tell me if whatever I'm writing is visible or not, because it's not visible on my mobile. I don't know what's happening. I think it'll take just one more minute. Yes, I know the screen is blank. Let me just share the whole thing. Now it's getting an infinity mirror. Don't worry, don't worry. Yes, now this will come, I guess. Yes, I think now it's visible. And okay. So far as the phases are concerned, we can categorize Indian writing in English into three, four phases. First is the colonial phase. Okay. So this is the time when the British government was ruling India. So this is the colonial phase. And then we have the independence phase. So this is not exactly post-colonial phase or post-independence phase, but just around the time of independence. Okay, so this spans from around 1900 to or 1910, in and around the First World War, up to 1947. So what kind of development was happening? That is the lookout of this phase. The third phase is obviously the post independence phase, and this may be again um, thought in this way that it is still continuing, because we are again we are in the post independence phase even now. But I would rather say that after 2000, we can say that globalization takes a strong hold, and now we are uh, in the phase where the issue of nationalism, all these issues have taken a very different kind of a perspective. Okay, so these are the four major historical phases under which we can study the Indian literature in general, which is written in English. Now, why has English become so important? This is a factual thing that I'm sharing with you, and these facts are often asked in your CUET exams or any competitive exams which you might be attempting, even in net. Macaulaay's Minute of 1835. Now we know that the English people, they started their various reform movements. And why were they so interested in reform? Primarily not because they loved us a lot, but because when you are ruling a particular country, then I mean, when it's not your own country, then you need to set up certain standardized rules. You need to train the people so that they can perform and help you, assist you in ruling them. So it's basically with the kind of we might think of it as an egalitarian measure, as a what to say, a measure to develop us. But the point is, all the reform movements that were undertaken by the British government, they were not uh, highly honorable selfless missions, but they were basically in order to train a certain group of people to serve the British government in a way. So the Macaulay's Minute of 1835, this happens to be a significant marker, because this is the beginning point when uh, English as a medium of instruction, that began to be seen in cases of various universities and colleges, especially Sanskrit College and Madrasa. These colleges were no more considered to be the seat of education in that sense, because now the shift was towards what now we call English medium institutions. Okay, and then during the 20 years between 1835 and 1855, the period of Macaulay's Minute, the English Education Act of Bentinct. So, along with Macaulay's Minute, the next important thing here is Education Act of Bentinct. And by these education acts, uh, we have a generation of people who could converse in English, who could write in English. And during the education of this generation, literature was used as an important tool. Okay, so they were taught the poetries and novels and whatever essays those were available in British literature. They were made they were made a part of the curriculum of universities and institutions. And that is why you will find that the majority of texts that you study in your graduation level, the majority of texts even in the PG level, they are mostly based on the British canon. What is canon? Canon is the hierarchy, that this is good literature, that is to be studied, that is a canon. So this is like the elite class text. So you will see that mostly you study some of the plays by Shakespeare, okay, Milton. So all these stalwart British writers were part of the curriculum, and this tendency started in 1835 to 1855 phase. And this phase is what Iyengar, this person's name I mentioned just a few minutes back. Iyengar is the historian, you can say, who made significant contribution towards writing of the book on Indian English. Iyengar calls this phase the phoenix hour that bred Anglian literature. So why is this? This might be asked that which two questions might be asked. One is, who calls the years from 1835 to 55 the phoenix hour? Phoenix means a bird which rises out of its own ashes. So, what was the ash? The ash was the destruction of the previous language systems in English. The education system that was prevalent, sorry, in India, not in English. The previous education system prevalent in India, that was burned down. But it did not destroy India at all. It out of this, like a phoenix bird which rises out of its own ash, in Indian literature. So this expression, remember, this was told by man who wrote that book, which I prescribed just now. Okay. Um, earlier 20th century, early 20th century is then it's about that you can say the independence phase. So in and around 19 is the key year. And we have obviously number one, nationalism and identity. Those are the basic themes in the literature that was produced, whether it was novel, whether it was poetry, whether it was any kind of non-fiction. Nationalism, identity, these things were developing. And talking about nationalism, on one hand we have the ideas of Bankim Chandra Chattopadhyay, who was talking about this concept of Mother India. In his book Anandamot, we have the phrase Bande Mataram, which became the the call for every nationalist movement, and was forming an identity of nation based on certain. Okay. And well, he was I find him to be pretty patriarchal at times. And he used a stereotype woman as the eternal victim, needs to be saved. I forgive him for that because he was wonderful. On the other hand, you have Rabindranath Tagore or Rabindranath Tagore. What he did, he redefined nationalism and rather gave a completely different worldview. And he talked about going beyond boundaries. So he was one of the first people who was talking about globalization even before globalization started. So the idea of Bisho Bharati, okay, these were the ideas of Tagore. But in any case, we can say that these authors during this time, Aurobindo Ghosh, Rabindranath Tagore, and if we come down a bit towards independence, we have Niraj Shi Chaudhuri. They were all talking about what it means to be an Indian, what it means to, what are the responsibilities of an Indian. And of course we have Jawaharlal Nehru. Okay, he had this book where he talks about the history of India, and why does he do that? In order to connect it to the future of India. So these people, they were trying to form a national identity and define nationalism. So the focus was on man as a being. And the most important novels in which we find this happening is like, you have Rabindranath Tagore's Gora. In Gora, the central theme is the question of identity. The central character, he is going through this phase of doubts because he doesn't know whether he belongs to India, or because he is a fair skinned person, is he alienated. So his situation, these are in constant clash. You would know what I'm saying, but if you don't know the story, don't go for it now. It's too late now if you're going to go for this year. But those are the places where the novels in which we see the question of identity, the question of Indianness is analyzed and presented and explored. Okay. Now we come to the post-independence period. Um, what happened? Why these after the independence, like after 1947, a number of poets and novelists started writing. Why? First of all, there was a lot of encouragement. Who gave these encouragement? First, you have these English journals like the Illustrated Weekly of India and the Quest. These were the two prominent journals where uh, they promoted Indian English literature. That means they wrote book reviews. Okay, they announced upcoming books, talked about the poems written by the poets. So these two journals were very during the time, and because of the encouragement of these two journals, people started more and more uh, getting interested in writing works in English. And of course, there is the Sahitya Academy Award is still very important. They focus on Indian literature. Okay. And especially they give awards for these Indian English literature. And from 1960s, 1955, I think 1955, I'll get that checked. But most important awards which they gave, I've given a list here also, starting from 1960. 1960s awardee is very important. You know him very well. All of you know him. We'll come to him. Now, if we talk about poetry, so one strategy is to divide the whole age into these different phases. But so what was the characteristics of the post-independence writings? The main characteristics was how India, as the idea of globalization. What is global? Time when there was a proliferation of literature, which is later seen as post-colonial literature. Okay, so this was also post-colonial literature phase for India. And post-colonialism essentially, you till now what was happening, till 1947, the tendency of the writers was to compete with the British writers, that see, we also can write. But after independence, gradually the sense of self worth increases. And then there is a look inward, that is there a tradition inside me already which is not British? Is there a special style which is there in my Indian way of writing? Because Indian English literature. We have such huge, I wouldn't say huge, I would say grand history, starting from the Sanskrit literature. So we have something which is different from Western tradition that is imposed on us. And then comes the look towards inside, then comes the novel like Kanthapura. Okay, and reviving the oral tradition, and the epic tradition of India. Okay, so these looking inward, trying to find out your own identity, that gave rise to the kind of literature where uh, you are not just proud of your identity, but you're also critical at times, like you have in Salman Rushdie's Midnight's Children. He's not saying that my culture is the best culture. He's saying that this is my culture, and this is my language. So after 1947, especially when you come towards 1970s, 1980s, the tendency to um, use language in a uh, very casual way, in a very Indian way, that started. And a particular word is very important in this context. It is related to Salman Rushdie, and that word is called chutneyfication. Chutney is, uh, we Indians know what chutney is. So, turning anything into a chutney. So when you turn the English language into a chutney, that means you add a local flavor. You use words. Suppose a word like dadagiri, okay, in which dada is a local word, is a vernacular word, and um, this whole concept of joining the two words, dada and giri, they don't go together, but somehow the whole idea is using the English syntax of joining two words in joining two Indian words. Um, if you have already passed your fifth semesters, you have already studied about the Indian English words, like 420. Now that section has changed. Now IPC 420 is not about being a 420. 420 means a person who cheats another person in some way. So it's like, I think it's 316 or something like that. I'm sorry, I cannot give you the exact number, which section it has become now. But earlier 420 meant a person who cheats. Then tiffin box, the word tiffin box joined together, they don't exist anywhere else in the world, but they are Indian coinages. So this is chutnification. You take the language of the colonizer and you twist and turn it to your own purpose, and you speak back, the empire speaks back. So that is a concept we have here. So in late 19th century, that is 18th something, then early 20th century, there was a tendency to copy and imitate the basic style and pattern of British writing, because it was India was still under the colonial rule, and therefore we find that authors now, they were also getting trained in their universities um, with these texts. So obviously they they created their own literature in a very similar way. If you know about Michael Madhusudan, he hero worshipped Milton so to write something like Milton got crushed. He wrote a few works in, but he came back, and when he wrote in Bengali, that really proved his mettle. So this is how there were disillusionments, and at the same time there were great productions too, like in Toru Dutt. She was a natural writer in not in Bengali at all, but in uh, English, French. So she had that expertise. So, some notable poets of this pre-independence period, you can say colonial period, bordering to 1930s, up to 1930s, we have Raja Ram Mohan Roy. Ram Mohan Roy, he was practically an essay writer, you can say, and he had to write these essays because he wanted to establish his points. You all know that he was the one who abolished the sati. And if you ever come across these essays that he wrote during the phase when he was justifying his position, you would really respect him because he was going against the entire nation at that time. Okay, and he had to cite it from his own scriptures that this is not done, you cannot do this to a woman. And mostly his language was definitely a very compelling, moving one, which made the British see the point, and they were proactive in abolishing sati. We have Henry Louis Vivian de Rosey. um, he he took great steps to spread education. And so far as poetry is concerned, he is basically known for his sonnets, narrative poems. And the thing about Derozio is he felt like he was a son of the soil, and the way he presents India is not in a glorified way. He presents India in a realistic way. In most of his poems, he personifies India again, who needs to be protected because she was great at one time and now she's so this extreme personal connection with India, that is the poems of Derozio. Aurobindo is more like a prophet, sage, and he inspired a lot of British poets. Actually, we have his inspiration on Yeats particularly. Aurobindo is very famous for Savitri. He wrote this epic, which was divided into 12 books. And, well, there was no point in writing about Rabindranath Tagore because he wrote so much that it's not feasible, practical at all to talk about him, even. Okay, but students sometimes make some mistakes, and sometimes tricky questions can come. And the trickiest question is which book got him the Nobel. And sometimes people say that he got Nobel for Gitanjali, but he did not get Nobel for Gitanjali. He got Nobel Prize for a translation of Gitanjali. Okay, and the translated phrase is song and offerings. Okay, song offerings. So that is the translated phrase. So you should remember that. Now, if the option is only Gitanjali, then Gitanjali is the right answer. But suppose there is Gitanjali and then songs and offerings, you must go for the English title. Now, when we come to 20th century, I just took the example of poetry. In poetry, you already have the idea about the independence phase. Now, this is mostly post-independence phase, you can say. And the first part of the 19th century, there were these poets, and you have Victorian and Georgian influences on them. Second quarter, more like humanism, mysticism. See, India was getting aware of its Indianness. This was during the second quarter. Third, huge shift. Why? Because this was a world which has already seen the two world wars. This was a world which has already witnessed the rise of imagism. Already, the poets of India, they have studied Eliot, they have studied James Joyce. So, if they've studied those authors, how can they stick to those neo-romantic, Victorian, and Wordsworthian imagery? Obviously, there had to be a change. And this change is most prominently brought by two poets, Ramanujan on one hand and Kamala Das. Okay. And Ramanujan and Kamala Das, if you study them, you'll understand that they were not just, they were now talking about, they was like, she was the harbinger of radical feminism in India, you can say. Radical feminism, why? Because women before this, they they kind of conformed to the idea of womanness, what is to be a woman. And Kamala Das challenged that very idea of being a woman. Okay, so she challenged, and not just that, she challenged the idea of language. Language, we know that if you are aware of the theories, especially of the French feminists, and the you can say feminists who were also psychoanalysts like Julia Kristeva and all, they said that language is something which is used by patriarchy to oppress, to govern, to create a system in which you're supposed to act in a certain way. So language is the tool of patriarchy. Okay, is the language of the father, the symbolic. And what is semiotic? The language of the womb. Before you get the language, that existence is called the semiotic phase. These things are a bit dense things. So this is part of the psychoanalytic feminism. But this is the basic idea that language is the governing thing of patriarchy. So Kamala Das, she in introduction, I have that video on my channel. It was one of my first videos. I really loved that video. I'm very sentimental about it. She says how she changes her language to suit her. She chooses her language. It doesn't matter what people tell her. She decides to write in English. This is her decision. So using language as a means to not follow the existing norms and rules, but to challenge them, to subvert them. That is what Ramanujan did. That is what Kamala Das did. And you have so many Indian themes coming in their poems. Last quarter is extremely you can have freedom of expression. Ezekiel, farewell party, that one of Miss Pushpa TS. It's hilarious the way he presents language, but he shows that uh, we are not to be ruled by any language, we are to rule that language. Okay. And we have Shahid Ali also, and they talk about contemporary Indian scenario, postmodern themes. And now you have after 20th after in the 21st century. So the problem is that now it has become so global. You cannot label any poet as an Indian poet, uh, because, well, I personally don't find to separate them from an American poet because it's a globalized world. Okay, and this tendency to bring in the issues of environment. Okay, you have a lot of eco-feminists writing now. This is a very common tendency in Indian poetry as of now. Now, yeah, how are you to prepare for it? You have We have covered the very vague overview of the various phases. Now, what I want you to do, you should understand that there are certain poets who are important. Okay, for instance, because they are part of the curriculum, the undergraduate curriculum of most universities. Now, if I look at, I'm just giving you a sample list that I have prepared. This is for Sarojini Naidu. Now, you look at the screen, you try to remember the poems that are given here on screen. Okay, so you can look at and see that these are the poems that Sarojini Naidu had written. You have to prepare lists like this, and you have to, if you have read some of the poems, then fine. But if you haven't read, even you have to know the names of these poems and try to remember it uh, in a very pictorial manner. All right. And see, love song, love song, love song. Okay, so the love song, these are written by her. So whenever it is about song, you will see uh, Sarojini Naidu has written so many poems which has the word song in it. And that is why she is called, what is she called? Can anybody tell me? Let's see. Why is she? Why? What is she called? What is her? You can say, what is she known as? Yes, Nightingale of India. So she is now, Ananya. You have answered correctly. Nightingale of India. So Nightingale sings, and I'm not saying that other poets have not written anything that ends with or has the word song in it, but in exam scenario, if you are to make an educated guess, and if you don't know what you're looking at, and if the poem's name has song in it, there's a high chance that Sarojini Naidu has written it. Okay, so this is just, see again, village song. Okay, so many songs there. Now she also, like when she published poems, she did not publish one poem at a time. She published it in anthologies, collections. So what are those anthologies? See, The Bird of Time, songs again, songs of life, death, and the spring. The Broken Wing, Nightingale. Remember the image of the nightingale. So nightingale is equal to bird, nightingale is equal to song. So you will remember these two words, that these two anthologies were by Sarojini Naidu, because she is the nightingale and nightingale is a bird. And see, these are songs. Again, the song of the palanquin bearers. Okay, so see, the sceptered flute, songs of India. See, it's so easy to remember. Anthologies which has the word song in it, Sarojini Naidu. Okay, feather of the dawn, feather bird. You cannot. And the golden threshold, we'll try to just remember it. It was the moment for the bird to take flight, perhaps. Okay, so this is how you will have to apply your personal tips and tricks to remember. Now tell me, I had shown you that list. Now you answer me. Which of the following poems is not composed by Sarojini Naidu? Palanquin Bearers, Songs of Radha, Fishermen of Coromandel, Indian Philosophy. If you don't know, make an honest, make an informed guess. Yes, literature lover. I hope you didn't see anything anywhere. But you see, when you look at these three titles, this one looks so serious, right? This is so different from the others. So if you have to make any guesses, and if you don't have negative marking, then you can go for a guess here. But Indian philosophy, please, this title itself is too non-musical. So obviously Sarojini Naidu did not write it. So this is, now let's go to Madhusudhan Dutt. Was composed by Madhusudhan Dutt. The Captive Lady, Bianca, Lays of Ancient India. Let's see who answers first. Madhusudhan Dutt was a Bengali. Shire and other poems. Could it be The Captive Lady, Bianca? Priyanka says Lays of India. Tell me one thing. Why should Madhusudhan Dutt be interested in Lays of Ancient India? He was interested in England. He was interested in Milton, wasn't he? Now look at the screen. Captive Lady. Okay. Was written by Toru Dutt. Toru Dutt. Lays of Ancient India was written by her cousin Romesh Chandar Dutt. Okay. Captive Lady was written by Madhusudhan Dutt. So many Dutts you might get confused. Toru Dutt, Ramesh Chandra Dutt, they were cousins. Madhusudhan Dutt was not related to them at that way. Okay, that he wrote The Captive Lady. What was the theme? Like these were the two long poems that Madhusudhan Dutt wrote. Number one, The Captive Lady. It was on the theme of abduction of Samyukta by Prithviraj Chauhan. Prithviraj Chauhan, he abducted Samyukta and he wrote this poem Captive Lady. So who is the lady in Captive Lady? Samyukta. Okay? And visions of the past. See, you got it wrong. You wrote Shams Nuren and Priyanka. You all days of ancient India. No, that was written not by Madhusudhan Dutt. Visions of the past is written by Madhusudhan Dutt, but it is not on India at all. It is on the Christian theme of temptation of Adam and Eve by Satan. Direct reflection of his admiration for Milton. Okay, and sorry, it's sad to say hi Atanu. Sad to say he fell flat on his own expectations and well, it didn't work. Okay. So remember, these two things were written by Madhusudhan Dutt, The Captive Lady. Sometimes the MCQs are arranged in such a way that they will give you four options, and then underneath they will say both A and B, none, only A, no, not B. So in that case, both these options you have to remember. Okay. Ah, now an easy one. Quickly, who wrote Rabindranath Tagore, Salman Rushdie, Arundhati Roy, Anita Desai? Who wrote The Home and the World? Double A. Sarika is so confident. She is giving capital letter double A. And if she is so confident, I don't think it is wrong at all. Yes, it is. Obviously, Rabindranath Tagore. Now, Sarika, you answer me. Nobody else will answer. Sarika, answer me. What is the Bengali original title of The Home and the World? Ah, Anonna, you wrote it. Okay, Anonna has already given the answer. Yes, it is called Ghore Baire. And now let me give you a list of the novels by Rabindranath Tagore. Not a very big list. Not a very big list. So try to remember, because sometimes, at least remember these two. One is Gora and one is Ghore. These are the two most important, most asked in exams novels. And remember the date 1909 is Gora, 1916 Ghore Baire. Now, how you'll remember these dates? Well, you can make some memory game with these. Uh, I don't know, 19 and 16 Ghore and Baire. So it depends. It's a very personal thing, making memory games. But if you can just remember it's, and all are written except Rajorshi. All are written in the 20th century. Okay. So Rajorshi is his first novel. Rajorshi is a novel which was there in the syllabus of our class 12 ISC when I passed ISC long back in the year 2000. I passed ISC. So at that time we had Rajorshi in our syllabus. I don't know if it is still there. Um, okay, Sarika, you have also answered Ghore Baire, right? Afat, since how long have you been here, dear? Okay, all right. So now let's. So you have to see, make these short little lists. Okay, if you have read these, fine. If you haven't read them, that's okay. At least, oh, one more trappy thing is there. It's called Sheshir Kobita, farewell song. Again, this is not the song for Sarojini Naidu. Shesher Kobita. Kobita means poetry. Usually people make this mistake. This is not a book of poems. This is a Short novel, it's a novella or a novel also. It can pass as a novel. Called Shesher Kobita. Shesh means end and Kobita means poetry. So farewell song. This is also translated as farewell song, but this is not. It's neither a song nor is it a very much a novel. Last one is Char Odhai. Okay, the four chapters. You can remember in this way. Uh, yes, yes, R.K. Narayan. I'm coming. Shams Nuren is so hyped about R.K. Narayan. R.K. Narayan is so predictable and easy. Okay, I'll see. Let's see what I can talk about. Now, after Rabindranath Tagore, yes, a little trivia for you all to remember that I don't want you to be confused about some things. Gitanjali is a collection of poems. Okay, he wrote this collection. It was originally written in Bangla, and original Bengali Gitanjali, it has 157 poems. 157. Okay, but the one which got the Nobel Prize, that is 103 poems together. It didn't end up rhyming like his original Bengali poems. And this collection published in 1912. And in 1913, he got the Nobel Prize. And these 103 poems, they were 53 were taken from Gitanjali. Gitanjali, original Bengali book was published. Then out of them, 53 poems were taken and translated, and 50 other poems from other works were taken and translated. So the Gitanjali that he wrote and published in Bengali is different from the one which got him the Nobel Prize. You get it clear? For the premium members, you will have this entire PowerPoint converted into PDF. Otherwise, you can just take screenshots here and remember these facts. You can get these facts easily on the internet, but I've just collected them together. Now, tricky one. Let's just jump to some new things, okay? Let's not talk about the old. Which Indian author is known for the Ibis trilogy? Ibis is connected to some kind of drug addiction, marijuana. Yes, Sarika, WBS wrote forward to songs offerings. Gitanjali is basically Anjali. Anjali means what when you offer flower to the gods idol. It's called Anjali. Geet means song. So you're offering your song. So it's song offering. Okay, come to this question. Rupsha says Amitav Ghosh, and Rupsha says it right. Proshenjit also correctly said Amitav Ghosh. Now let's learn what this Ibis trilogy is. Ibis trilogy means three novels when they are put together as a series, you can say. So, what are the three novels of Ibis trilogy? And the first one is very popular. Actually, most of you knew that Sea of Poppies is written by Amitav Ghosh. But what you didn't know is it belongs to the Ibis trilogy. Okay. So, Sea of Poppies, 2008, then River of Smoke, and flood of fire. See all water image here. Sea, river, flood. And it is going down. Sea is bigger, river is comparatively small, and flood is what? It's just one wave. So remember it that way. The first one is Sea of Poppies. And this is mostly about trafficking of marijuana and stuff like that. You can okay, Ananna, let me see what you're writing here. I don't got the word as a bird in a far cry of Africa. Mm-hmm. Okay. Uh, so this is the Ibis trilogy. Okay. Uh, Ibis is connected to the word cannabis, ganja. Okay. So Ibis, cannabis, remember that way. All right. Now, Shahitya Academy. This one is very, very important. Keep this list. I have given the entire list here. No, this is just only one slide. Okay, it has three slides. And this list is very important for two reasons. Number one, you might be directly asked the question, maybe four works will be given and will be asked which of the following did not get a Sahitya Academy. A direct question from Sahitya Academy can come. Another thing is that it will help you is that you will remember who wrote what. For example, if you remember this list, you will remember that Guide is written by R.K. Narayan, Serpent and the Rope is by Raja Rao. So you will remember, and not just that. See, all of these are not novels. Some of these are autobiographies. So, which is the first autobiography to receive the Sahitya Academy Award? The Tribal World of Warrior Elvin. Warrior Elvin, he wasn't working with Gandhi, and he had this Gandhian philosophy. And this was the time when Gandhian philosophy was in rampant. um, so this list is very very important. Okay. um, Chaman Nahal Azadi novel. Let's get to the next part. So this entire list has to be there on your bedroom wall. Well, please take care if it is newly painted. I wouldn't want your parents shouting at me that you have spoiled our decor. Maybe your desk, somewhere where you can see it. Just don't get it printed and keep it hidden in a file. Let it remain in front of your eyes. It helps. Okay. Make it the screensaver of your laptop. So you know that which book is by whom. Very very useful. It can be given in n number of combinations. They can give you matching, match the writer with the works. And what do you think, which works they will pick? The works which are popular. How will they select the popular works? The works which got prizes. And Sahitya Academy is the most important prize of literature in our country, right? um, Ganpit is also there, but Ganpit award is like, it's for the gyan, for the whole thing. But Sahitya Academy Award is specifically for a particular literary work. And that is why this chart is so useful. You will not be expected to remember the dates of every awardee. Okay, you won't be, I don't think you will be ever asked in which year Vikram Seth got it. No. For that, you have to remember the last awardee, 2023, who got the award. That is important. Okay, let's come to that. See, Requiem in Raga Janaki, Neelam Gaur novel. She got Sahitya Academy Award in 2023. Don't forget it. This is GK. This is not even literature. This is the most important question to remember, because you have to know this, don't you think? Who got Sahitya Academy? So if you remember R.K. Narayan, you must remember Neelam Gaur. And if possible, go through a very short, if not a summary, at least know about this novel. What is it about? What is the central theme? Who is the main character? Just know this much. So whenever you get a chart for yourself, try to look at it as if you are a paper setter. What are the questions you might be asking? All right. um, Mamang Dai is such a popular poet, right? But she got Sahitya Academy not for poetry but for novel The Black Hill. So these are the trappy questions, because you all have Mamang Dai as a poet in your syllabus. So you might feel confused that no, she didn't write a novel definitely, but she got it for a novel. Okay, so remember these things. Which Indian author won the Sahitya Academy Award for his novel Rich Like Us? I already gave you that list. Do you remember this word there, seeing this word? Rich Like Us. Poonam, God knows what is needed to crack net. I don't know. That is why I never have a paid course for net. I feel like cheating people. See, in UPSC, what happens? You know which texts are there. I try my best to teach my students those texts. Now it's up to them to handle the themes and the language and everything. But at least I'm not cheating them. I'm teaching them. Okay. But if I take a paid course from you, I get paid from you, I feel like I'm cheating because nobody knows what will come in net. What I can do is I can make you more interested and connected and be more curious about knowledge so that by chance things that I say in the videos that come, and you remember the chart, it might come, it might not come, but if you remember the writers of the most important novels, those who got the Shahitya Academy Award, and if you at least know the central character's name, maybe that will help. Because sometimes these match the following things come in net, where on one hand they have the names of the characters, and on the other hand they have the names of the books, and you have to match. And if by chance you remember just two of them, the combinations are given in such a way that you can crack that question. Okay, you don't have to know all of them. So whatever information comes, if you know a little bit more, then it helps. Acha, Nayantara Saigal. Yes. Do you know Kajal? Um, Kajal will answer this. Kajal will answer this. To which important political figure is Nayantara Sehgal related? Like she is very closely related to whom? Nayantara Sehgal? Only Kajal will answer. Kajal, if you don't know, you say you don't know. Then others will try. If I give you the surname of her father, you will be able to say. The surname of her father is Pandit. Come on, it's easy. Around my way, of course, Indira Gandhi. You can say Rahul Gandhi also, but the answer I wanted was Jawaharlal Nehru. That is the first link. It's okay, Kajal. So, what you will do, Kajal? Obviously, I know after this live ends, you're going to go to the Wikipedia page of Nayantara Saigal, right? And trust me, the little that you see there, you don't have to memorize anything. Just go to the page, just look at it, and your brain will take up information that you will be excited about and you will remember. Okay? Yes, Sarika, it's Jawaharlal Nehru. Definitely. It's Pandit, so it's obviously Jawaharlal Nehru and his whole family. Which fictional town is R.K. Narayan famous for creating in his novels? I think this is too easy for you people. Fastest finger first. Let's see. Yes, words, world, Malgudi. Now the question I will ask. I'm sure semester 6 WBSU students will be able to answer, but you will not answer. Afat, you will not answer this. Okay. You are looking at the first option, Mano Majra. If you are a student of semester 6 WBSU, please don't answer because you know this. Malgudi is the imaginary fictional town created by R.K. Narayan. Who is the creator of Mano Majra? Yes, Sarika already. Before I ask the question, she could read it. Okay, no, right. Sarika is absolutely right. Mano Majra, Khushwant Singh, train to Pakistan. Okay, so see, even that question might be asked, and they might even ask you to match the uh, town with the writers. All right, and sometimes they might give imaginary towns, sometimes they might give non-imaginary ones. Okay. So coming to the guide. Well, this is too easy. I'm just going off. Everybody knows by now. Shahitya Academy, right? So, what trivia will we get after this? Ah, extra thing that you have to remember is that in 1960 it got Sahitya Academy Award. This everybody knows. But in 2022, that means just like 2 years back, it was included on the Big Jubilee Read list of 70 books. So, what is Big Jubilee Read? Big Jubilee Read is a list of 70 books by Commonwealth authors. Who are the Commonwealth authors? Commonwealth, you know what a Commonwealth is? It is the group of countries which still consider the British Queen as their queen or the king as their king. So there's a Commonwealth, and they are basically it's they are all free nations, but it's like they share a kind of a bond here, and they celebrated the platinum jubilee of Elizabeth II. Who is Elizabeth II? The queen who just died. Who is the king of England now? Everybody knows this, I know. Who is the king of England? Is there a king of England now? Or have they abolished monarchy? Yes, Charles III. I wonder how can English people still name their children Charles? Pretty ominous. I even thought Charles is never going to be a king. His mother is never going to die. Anyway, so Charles is the present king. Very nice. And are you aware of the latest news about British elections? Which party came with a great majority, up ki baar 400 par kind of a majority? Yes, Ananya, Labour Party. It's all across my timelines. So, Big Jubilee Reid is the Jubilee, Platinum Jubilee means 75 years of her birth. That is Platinum Jubilee of Elizabeth II. And it was in 2022. And in that list, there were only 70 books, out of which they have selected the guide also. All right, they've put the guide there. Now, Kanthapura, very common in all kinds of syllabus that I've seen. Take it from UPSC, WBCS, MA, then this university, that university, everywhere you have Kanthapura. What is the theme of Kanthapura? Yes, Anu, absolutely right. Indian independence movement, and it is intimately connected to the ideologies of Gandhi, and it's basically the story of Mahatma Gandhi's independence from 1919 to 1930. But it is not given like a biography. It is like a village legend, and it makes use of techniques like oral narrative. That's why it's like Kanthapura. It's like a Puran Ved, that kind of a narrative structure, and it's like a flashback of an earlier time. And who is the narrator? The village storyteller is Achaka is talking about an earlier time, and it is basically about uh, the the principles of Gandhi, the principles of non-violence and his independence movement. Okay, and it was published in 1938. Malguri, Aishwarya. Oh, okay, you are still talking about that R.K. Narayan. Yes, Aishwarya Mitra, you are right that Malguri is connected to R.K. Narayan. Now let's come down a bit to the God of Small Things. You all know Arundhati Roy. She wrote this. And do you know which place is the setting of the God of Small Things? Kerala. Yes, yes, very good. Where in Kerala? Do you remember the exact place in Kerala? Yes, Eminem. So now you have another name. Malguri, R.K. Narayan, Mano Majra, Khushwant Singh, Eminem is Arundhati Roy. Okay. And this timeline which we get in this book is between 1960 and 1993. This is about Ammu. Ammu is a matriarch. She is the head woman, you can say. She is a controlling voice here. She, through her perspective, we're getting it. And it's about her twins, mostly about her twins, Ista and Rahil. So this is the basic storyline of the God of Small Things. I don't have a Telegram channel, but if you, this is an answer to Aisha Siddika Naskar. I don't have a Telegram channel which I regularly update or thing. I have a channel which is long for, like, I've stopped looking at it. What you can do, if you are a premium member, then you get access to a WhatsApp group where you can interact. But see, it's not an answer writing service that we provide, because it is not practical. Like, if you ask me to provide you with answers of all long questions at the end of the day, uh, I'm just a human being, it's not possible. And I'm not an AI writing service. Yes, you can of course discuss issues with me. Sometimes you get stuck somewhere, sometimes you want to know about some exams, sometimes you want me to check your written answers. Those things we do through that WhatsApp group. So if you are already a premium member, then you are part of that group. But I don't have any Telegram channel. Okay, now let's move on. Vikram Seth. Vikram Seth's A Suitable Boy is known for its short length, historical setting, length and detail, epistolary format. Why is suitable boy? Now, these are the questions which trap us. Why? Because this is not about factual knowledge. This is about those two, three additional things that we know about. That that is why I never ask my students to memorize the dates only. You have to know a little about what this is. Okay. Vikram said suitable boy. Let's see. C, C, maybe somebody is saying D. Now I'm giving you one information here. See, it is one of the longest novels. Longest novels, one of the, it's not the longest novel. It is one of the longest novels published in a single volume with over 1400 pages. So don't read it. Don't read it, please. If you are reading it for exams, don't read it. I'm not asking you to read it. But you just remember that it is about a family story. Family story which is set in a post independence, post partition India. And it's basically about a very detailed long study on into cultural aspects of India. And you have satire, and you have romance, and you have many things. So it's like a novel version of an ever going TV series. Okay. um no, not Grey's Anatomy kind, but yes, long one. So now we come back to the question. The right answer is length and detail. This is the right answer, because this is such a long, long book. So it is not known for short length, not for historical setting, it is contemporary setting, but it is for the length and detail that we see this novel as an exceptional one. Now let's come to the next one. Jhumpa Lahiri won the Pulitzer. Very easy. Which one? Answer me. Abhishek is giving us a very useful trivia here. New PM, Keir Stammer. Yes, Labour government's new PM. Sarika Gupta, the interpreter of maladies. Very good. No, it is not namesake. It is not namesake. Interpreter of maladies, not interpretation of maladies, Sarika. It's interpreter. What is special about interpreter? So see, now we have to know a little bit about interpreter of maladies. This is the first book of first collection of short stories that Jhumpa Lahiri came up with. Okay, it was published in 1999. So this is a 20th century collection. It's not a 21st century collection. Okay, it won the Pulitzer Prize. And what is the other prize it won? Penn Hemingway Award. Pulitzer plus Penn Hemingway Award. So, other than Pulitzer Prize, what prize did this collection win? Penn Hemingway Award. And what is the real name? I mean, real name is Jhumpa. Jhumpa is also a real name. It's not a pen name. It's what we Bengalis call Daknam. Ghar ka naam in Hindi. Okay. So Jhumpa is the name by which everybody calls her. But her formal name is Nilanjana Sudeshna Lahiri. I know Nilanjana is one name, Sudeshna is another name, but she has both these names with her. So Nilanjana Sudeshna Lahiri, Jhumpa Lahiri's whole name. All right. What's wrong with my nose? I know. This weather is being playing tricks on me. All right. Who is known for the novel The Inheritance of Loss, which won the Booker Prize? Now we have the Booker Prize here. Auto wrong. Sarika, you have used a very correct statement here. People keep on telling me, suppose they make a mistake, they say, oh, ma'am, it got auto corrected. I say, how can it get auto corrected if it is wrong? But she wrote it correctly that it is auto wrong. Sarika, right again. Kiran Desai. Now, with Booker Prize, uh, it's very easy to remember which Indian authors got the Booker Prize because not many authors got it. All right. Only five Indian origin or Indian authors got the Booker Prize. And it is easy to remember. So, no excuses there. You cannot forget. V.S. Naipaul in a free state, not House for Mr. Vishwas. House for Mr. Vishwas is there in your syllabus sometimes, but he got Booker Prize for In a Free State. Salman Rushdie, Midnight's Children. Arundhati Roy, The God of Small Things. This we have already talked about. So see, the questions keep on coming from the awardees. All right. Kiran Desai, The Inheritance of Loss. This one you have just answered correctly. And Arvind Adhika, The White Tiger. Have you watched the movie? Anybody? The White Tiger, the movie is there. I forget which OTT, but I think it's Prime or Netflix, something like that. If you haven't watched, you can watch the movie. It's nice. I didn't find it that bad. It is good. I liked the book, The White Tiger. But well, I don't think it's as huge as Midnight Children or even The God of Small Things. But okay, if they liked it, they liked it. But the consolation is that uh, although Midnight's Children is in the same list as the White Tiger, but still Midnight's Children is different because a special prize was created in 1994. So it is not that every, yes, Balram Halwa is the protagonist in White Tiger. He's the driver. Uh, it's an interesting book. Okay, you can read it. It's easy. It's easy like Chetan Bhagat. Chetan Bhagat is bad, but still is easy to read like that. Popular literature, more like. Anyway, so the Booker of Bookers. Sometimes you have this feeling that every year they give one Booker of Bookers. No. Booker of Bookers was a special prize created in 1994, and they looked back at all the Booker prizes they have given and they selected the best, that Booker of Bookers, the king of kings. Okay, and it was Salman Rushdie. How many of you have read The Midnight Children? That is one book which I am really proud of myself that I read Midnight Children on a binge reading. and I completed it in what, 2 days, max 2 days. I don't know what went into me. I was very young then. I was in my graduation second year, and my sister, she was a master's of in English, and she had this book. Suddenly I got very interested, and it was such an easy language and such a weird kind of a book. I couldn't stop. Okay, and trust me, I could not finish David Copperfield, but I finished Midnight Children, and I'm so happy that it got the Booker of Bookers in 1994. So if you ever have the free time, read it. If you manage to read past the third page, you will not be able to put it down. I promise you this. Midnight Children. Okay. Not the summary. Don't go for the summary. Trust Rushdie. Trust his language. He writes easier, in easier language than any summary maker. Okay. And you will be surprised at how wonderful that is. Mulk Raj. Okay. So if you are, so you have to keep yourself focused that there are three genres: novel, poetry, drama. Today we haven't talked any, even little bit about drama. I know, but this is just an introductory class. If you think these classes are going to be useful, you can tell me. Then maybe we can take it up twice a week instead of once a week. Maybe this Wednesday I can focus entirely on Indian drama in English. Okay, and that will be more focused. We will take up each dramatist one by one, and then I'll ask you certain MCQs and all, just like today. If you want, I can do that, so that you can write that in the comments. Um or if you want me to take up literary theory, uh, uh, that no, instead of that, take an introductory overall session on literary theory first, and then you go into detailed topic wise things, because uh, it's all up to you. What you want, I'll do. Literary theory is something you need for net also, I know. So important English novelists, you have to know about the works for which they got prizes. All right? For which they got prizes, the important characters in those prize winning works, and the setting of those prize winning works. Right? For example, if you are talking about, I have not mentioned here V.S. Naipaul. I know. You can just add him to it, just like Salman Rushdie is added as a separate one, because he's not entirely Indian in that sense. But suppose you're taking up V.S. Naipaul and you are talking about House for Mr. Vishwas, then you have to talk about the Caribbean setting. You have to know about that. It's not set in India. So Mohan Bishwas, the name might sound Bengali. You might be tempted to say that it is written in Kolkata, setting in Kolkata, but it is not so. It is set in Caribbeans. All right. So these are the tricky parts. So you have to list down in separate pages. Make an exercise copy, Mulk Raj Anand, important works, write the important works, and for every work, write 1 2 trivia items. And do this research yourself. The more you copy paste and print materials from internet, it won't help. Write with your pen. Make it make it something that helps you remember. See, when you write something with your pen, it's not just your uh, brain remembering the information, it's your eye looking at it. So an additional input, your pen, so your tactile senses, you really do. When you write a lot the same things, it comes as a natural response. So let your body do the research along with you, participate in it, get involved. Don't depend so much on printouts and filings. Work with your hands. Note down the information with your hands. If you like the digital way, type it out with your hands instead of copying and pasting. This will help. Okay. uh, all right. Now, today we do not have anything specific anymore. So I am stopping this screen sharing. Just a minute. Let's get back to the. Okay. So you understand that this is more or less going to be jumping from one information to another. Don't let your uh, mind feel boggled that there is endless information. There is endless information, but have some faith in the whole system that they will ask you those informations specifically which have started which have some connection to all these prizes, all these important movements, okay, and all these important writers. So it won't be unconnected completely. And don't panic. Sometimes when we panic, we forget what we already know. Do not study anything new 3 days before the exam. 3 days before the exam, you should have your copy with you. Don't even search anything, no need. Yes, you can engage in these interactive sessions of different channels. You already have many reputed channels who offer good interactive live classes. Okay, those are okay. But don't fidget that what will happen, I can't perform. You will be able to. If your brain is set at ease, you will remember things from class 8 and 9, and you had pieces even then in your syllabus which might be useful now. All right. So thank you everybody. This was my first CUET class. Yes, Shams Nurin, what do you want to say? Shams, you want to say something? uh, Thank you everyone. Thank you so much. uh, Maybe I've missed reading out your names. Anu, Sarika, you have been so interactive. Highest point goes to Sarika. I think nobody would deny that. Literary theory. Kajal, I really would love to take something in literary theory because it is going to be applicable for so many competitive exams. Okay, then what we can do, we can think about a class on literary theory, live class. I will try to make it this Wednesday, but in case I can't, because this is also a week, like from Monday again my college is going to start. So if I cannot manage it this Wednesday, I will surely do it on Saturday, but I'll try to do it this Wednesday. All right, Wednesday or Friday at the most. I will take up a comprehensive class on literary theory. I will advise you to go through my video on structuralism, to go through my video on feminism before you join that class, because I will be taking again those. I will take give you dharathar MCQs and expect you to answer them. Okay. Okay, now let me see what Shams Nurin says. Oh, Shams, I'm so sorry. Yes, yes, I will read out all the questions and the options. I promise you. Yes, Shams, I am so sorry. I take for granted things a lot, and I'm really sorry. Uh, uh, what I'll do, Shams, what you can do, okay, if you will you be able to access the PDF if I give you the PDF through email? Then I am giving you now my you can get the email of NibblePop, contact@nibblepop.com. The address is contact@nibblepop.com. Shams Nurin. If you write there, then I will know your email ID and I will send you the PDF, which I'm sure you can access through um, like Google Voice service. Okay, then you will know all the questions that I have asked. And from next time, I'll make sure I read out all the questions and the options. Arupsha, thank you. Afat, go. It's your exam today. Those of you who are giving that presidency entrance exam, study everything you can on literary theory. All the isms should be there. Okay, and then at least um go for everything related to culture studies. Okay, whatever materials you have already gathered, and don't stay here in this life. Revise, and after 10 o'clock, don't revise. Just go to sleep. Inmarcessible sonrisa. Literary theory, Indian drama. Okay, Indian drama is also something I have in my mind. So if I can manage to take the class on literary theory this Wednesday, I will take up Indian drama next Saturday. Okay. Syllabus, Shabnam. Yes, there is a syllabus. It's called Pacific Ocean. No, there is a syllabus. Of course, there is a syllabus, but that syllabus, it's there in their CUET website. It's there, but the syllabus is so vague. They can ask you anything connected to those things. Like they have given something as vague as Indian writers in English. How vague that can be. So that's the kind of syllabus they have. They have a list of literary terms. um, Again, they have this entire range of English literature. So if you want to revise, have a quick revision, you can go through the videos I have made on history of English literature, starting from old English period down to the modern postmodern times. Okay, so that is their syllabus. So it is Pacific Ocean. You're reading Jim Corbett, Abhishek. Very good. uh, Okay, Sham. So you send me that email to contact at nibblepop.com, or you can write me at, now listen carefully to this email address. It is MONAMI underscore nibblepop at outlook.com. So it is Monami underscore nibblepop at outlook.com. So it is only for Shams Nurain because I wanted to help her out. Sh- She has a problem with vision. So since I did not speak out all the options and the questions, so she had a bit of a problem in comprehending. That's why I'll be sharing it with Shams Nurain. And this entire PDF will also be shared with the premium members who have already joined our channel. Okay. Nazia Shaheen, thank you, beta. All right. Girish Karnad, yes, when we will study Indian drama, we will not only study Girish Karnad, but also other prominent playwrights. Maizattan is there, and let's see what else we can take up. All right. History of English literature. For that, you must have an Albert at your home, Edward Albert. And other than that, you can what Rutledge series is good. But back in our times, when in 2006-7, there was this book by Bhim S Dahiya. I don't know if new editions have come up or not, but if you find anything by Bhim S Dahiya on English literature, history of English literature, you can go for it, because what Dahiya does, he makes very good sequential lists, and you remember the points. Okay, he doesn't use very complicated language, so that is good. Bhimes Dahiya is good. And for literary theory, you should absolutely have a copy of Peter Barry, beginning theory, Peter Barry. At least the PDF should be there with you. If you do not have that with you, you can tell me. I think I have already shared that in the premium member group. And you can access that. You can get that PDF from anywhere. Peter Barry is so readily available. So beginning theory, Peter Barry, is going to be very useful for literary theory, CUET, NET, everything. Okay. Chalo, I should leave you all now because it's almost 9. And which one better, Albert or Routledge? Albert is good for up to 1900. So far as the new movements are concerned, especially postmodernism after 1920s, Albert is useless. Routledge is helpful there. But Routledge is no, the problem with Routledge is the writing is very wishy washy. You don't have very point wise writings there. I'll see if I can look up any good books, especially from modernism, postmodernism portion. Um or if anybody has come across a good book after 1900s, then it is okay. But Albert is good for CUET PG. Albert is good because they don't ask very complicated questions there. Okay, so Albert is going to give you a proper timeline. Especially, Albert is very good for dealing with the periods between Middle English period and say Victorian. So that range, Albert is very good, very concise and easy to remember. Chalo, everybody. Oh, Shams Nurain, you're a boy. Are your name is so sweet. Nurain is like it's a it's it has a feminine air about it. Don't worry, Shams. You know that what is interesting. My name is Monami. Okay, Monami, and I used to write this spelling all my life. And when I went to my PG classes, then one of our great teachers, his name is Chinmoy Guho, sir, Dr. Chinmoy Guho, and he is a very stalwart figure. Okay, he translates these French books all the time, and he's actually given this knight. He's a knight of the French people. So Chinmoy sir told me, Monami, why do you spell your name with I at the end? It should be IE. I said, why, sir? And he said, Monami is male friend, and Monami means female friend. So it's like Sakha and Sakhi, that kind of. I was like, it's too late, saw my birth certificate, ICSE, so many changes. Sorry. And people always spell me as Monami, which is my spelling, which is male. So, yes, Shams, things happen that way. Okay, Shams Nurain is I hope you didn't mind because and your name is so beautiful, and sometimes beautiful names always have this feminine air about it. Just like Monami, who would say that Monami is actually a male name? Just imagine. Thank you, everybody. Um, so So now I think I'll end this stream. Thank you all for joining me. I will expect you to be here on Wednesday if I manage. I'll announce it by Tuesday if I can manage to prepare this. Okay? Because it needs some preparation also. I'll try to make a stream on literary theory, CUET, and net. Okay? And it will also be useful for SEM 6. SEM 6 students, best of luck, dears, for your exams coming up. Don't worry, you're going to really smash it this time. Chalo, bye everybody. Good night, good night, good night. I'm ending the stream. Bye bye. And again, if you want to join our channel, the link is somewhere down there. You can join and get some special perks if you're interested. So, this is Monami Mukherjee signing off. Bye bye. Good night.